Jesus said, "And I will give you the keys of the kingdom. Whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven." Welcome back to the Keys of the Kingdom series, and our key for today is the key of management. Listen to me very well. This is perhaps the most important key when it comes to your life here on earth, our life here on earth as kingdom citizens, because management is like God's top priority. Scriptures tell us in Genesis 2 that God did not make anything grow because there was no man to till the earth, there was no man to manage. So whatsoever you have or you don't have is the result of management, your management. So quickly we see in Matthew chapter 25 verse 14 right down to 30, Jesus shares the parable of the talent. And there is this man who has 3 servants, and before traveling to a long distance, he gives them talents. And the scriptures tell us according to their abilities. So first thing we learn from here is that whatsoever you have, God will only entrust to you what he believes you can manage. Meaning that it's pointless to pray for what we cannot manage. So you always have to say, not really that I want $1 billion, but God, give me what I can manage. And I know once I manage it well, it's going to increase. And so he leaves his servants and goes. And when he comes back, they have to come and give an account. And verse 20 tells us, he who had received 5 talents came back and brought 5 other talents, saying, "Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents besides them." And this was the same thing with the person with 2 talents. But the guy with 1 talent, in verse 24, then he who had received 1 talent came and said, "Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid, and went and hid your talent in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours." 26, but his Lord answered and said, "You wicked and lazy servant." 2 words, wicked and lazy. So once we are bad managers, or once we decide not to manage, meaning bringing out the best out of what God has given us, making the most of what we have, 1, we are wicked, and 2, we are lazy. If we waste food, if we waste our money on things that are not important, if we waste our talents and gifts that God has given us, instead of serving people, we spend that talent maybe just hanging around, lazing around, watching movies and playing games. I'm not saying these things are wrong, but I'm saying once they become an impediment to us exercising our talents to maximize and bring out the most from it, Jesus is saying, 1, we are wicked, and 2, we are lazy. And so the master says, "You ought to have deposited my money at the bankers. At least I would have received some interest." And then the key thing to note, he says, verse 28, "So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. And verse 29, "For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away." What Jesus is telling us, this is simple, right? We say in the world that the rich become richer and the poor become poorer. Well, newsflash, Jesus already said that in scriptures, that is the way it's supposed to be. That he who has, more will be given. Meaning that he who manages well will attract more in their talent, in their money, in their resources. If you manage your home well, your home will last longer. If you mismanage your home, eventually it could collapse, or a storm could blow it out, or a rain could flood it. So he who has, more will be added. And from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. This tells us we have no excuse to give for being poor, or for being unproductive, or for not having something to offer. For he says, he who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. Meaning you can't just raise your hands and say, "I don't have anything, God has not blessed me, I'm not rich." No, he is saying, look well, you have something to offer. Remember, Moses, God asked him, "What do you have?" And Moses had a staff. He didn't say, "I don't have anything." The same thing with the widow who went to the prophet. The prophet asked her, "What do you have?" And she said, she has oil. God is telling us, you always have something. Never think you have nothing, because the moment you think you have nothing, you are aborting every single last talent you have. But it's our responsibility to look at, okay, no matter how challenging, broke, tight things are, we need to look at what do we have. And if we look carefully, we'll obviously always see the one talent we still have. And then we can manage that talent. We can make the most of it. We can invest it to bring out the best in it. And he says, as we do that, then more resources will be poured our way. Many times when you just came to Christ, you pray for things and God will just miraculously send them. Then after a while, you start praying and nothing is happening. Well, guess what? The question of management has entered the picture. You may have it for free sometime, but later on, God expects you to make the most of what He gave you yesterday. Instead of giving you something new today, He's saying, go back yesterday from the one I gave you yesterday, maximize it, and also be a blessing to others. And as you do that, you will automatically attract more resources. Are you a good manager? Or are you a wicked and lazy servant? This is a rhetoric question. You should think about it and start putting your life in order, because once you apply this key excellently, managing everything around you, your clothes, your shoes, your money, your children, your spouse, remember, management is bringing out the best, making the most out of the little you have. You want to squeeze every juice that you can get from it. You don't waste anything. You recycle, you recycle, you recycle. Then excellence and wealth and prosperity and fullness of life will be your portion, like the servant who maximized their 5 talents. You've just watched Keys of the Kingdom with Bodas Djoumessi, and you can check out the link to the other keys down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that bell. I want to say a big thank you to all our patrons. Thank you for supporting and sponsoring this series. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. That's our time in this video. I want to believe you were inspired by it. Then give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to this channel for more great content like this. Remember to take responsibility on what you learned today. This video is proudly sponsored by our patrons. You too can support this channel by visiting our Patreon page. The link is in the video description below. I want to say a big thank you to all our patrons out there. I am Bodas Djoumessi from Wisdom for Dominion. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video.